Greetings, magnificent souls, to the Lily Bewley podcast, where we have open and honest discussions about ourselves. This is your host, Lily Bewley, and I'm honored to have conversations here with thought leaders, visionaries, healers, and even solo conversations with myself about things I am currently reflecting on. This is a place where we break down, break away, and break through our emotional trauma, allowing ourselves to attract health, build wealth, and live a peaceful life. We are tired of being sick and tired. We are tired, but we are not giving up. We know that there is something magnificent inside of us. And because we are fighting daily, hourly, and by the minute, fighting ourselves, our kids, our spouses, we have to do things differently. We have to break the cycle. We don't have a million chances. We have to be happy now. We have to find a way. So how do we do that? How is that possible? If you look around at what society is telling you, they tell you that what we're doing is impossible. Yet it's happening every single day. And it's happening through the practice and the love that we call awakening the magnificent soul. We are all magnificent souls, and these are our stories of healing. Today in episode 86 is a solo episode today about dealing with thoughts and emotions. And this was a request from someone in the Instagram community. Come on over and follow me over in that community as well. And I'm happy to chat more about this today. Also, a warning, some background noise. You may be hearing that there is some unexpected yard work happening in the yard. Well, here we are, and here we are recording, and this is real life, y'all. So hello. So about this episode, and first, actually, don't forget to let me know your thoughts about this episode or anything you would like me to cover on future podcasts at epiphanyvault.com. Remember, it is a safe place, and I would welcome the discussion. Also, a request, if you are enjoying the show, please rate and share and review so we can please get the word out to more and more souls who want to heal. And on to today's show today, dealing with thoughts and emotions. First, let me just start that for a long time, I didn't even know this was a thing, honestly. I grew up in a house where emotions were kind of silenced, where individual thoughts, like those outside of what my family deemed appropriate, were not valued. And that, along with like societal pressures, regional kind of pressures, a lot of other outside influences led me to a place where I was trying to be happy and kind of to navigate that world, that internal environment. I wanted the world to light me up. I wanted to be successful. I wanted to have love and all of those things that I was taught that was out there and that I could have, but I, for some reason, just couldn't seem to get it. And through my healing, what I realized is that I was really just so disconnected from myself, like my highest self, my inner knowing and my intuition. And I knew something needed to change, but I didn't really know how or really what, other than everything about me was wrong. And I went through a period of like really trying extensive gratitude practices, trying positive affirmations, and these were great and they worked for a time. But I always seem to kind of drift back into the same patterns, like getting strung out at work, attracting unhealthy relationships, maybe not feeling fulfilled in life, and not understanding what in the heck that I was doing wrong. And that spiral kind of spiraled in and spiraled down into like that would just make me more and more unhappy. And after time, what I realized was maybe I was given the wrong information. Maybe I was given the wrong information in that, and I actually talked about this today with on a podcast recording that's releasing in a couple weeks, is there's a lot of information out there, y'all. Like we can Google how to have more self-love. We can Google how to control my thoughts. We can Google, there's YouTube, there's books, there's an endless, we can probably die before that we can consume all of this information. And I think after a while, we can get to this place where we feel like that there's like something inherently wrong with us, because we're wired in a way maybe to kind of pick out things that we do wrong. And y'all, this wasn't our fault. It's probably stemming a lot from childhood, from maybe having to think that way so we didn't get punished, or we didn't end up like dying or being alone for real. It's a real thing. And I think like I'm feeling a little bit angry right now, honestly, with the self-development world. And this does not like, I want to put a star in, like a caveat here, in that self-development and personal development is by far and away one of my biggest values. It's one of the biggest things that I live by, my team lives by, my partner lives by. My, it's just the filter through which I live my life. And those are the people that I get along better with, who are able to see different perspectives, who are able to kind of be self-aware. So I don't want to like completely bust open this personal development space. But what I can say is, right now, at least, the answer, when we're trying really hard and we're really at an emotional kind of like at that emotional overwhelm place where we really want something better for us, but we don't know what we're doing, we tend to try to do things on our own. We tend to like isolate ourselves and make meaning of the reason that we can't have what we want is because that we're wrong or we're bad or we suck. I used to say all the time, like, I'm really bad at relationships. And I believed that. And in the normal kind of like, in the normal realm right now, I feel like with personal growth, it's like, well, just change your mindset, Lily. And is that easy, y'all? It wasn't easy for me. And if I couldn't just change my mindset, if someone makes it really easy and I couldn't just change my mindset, then I was messed up forever. That's the way I felt. And that's kind of what I guess the bone that I have to pick now with personal development and growth is that if someone gives you like an equation that has worked for them and it doesn't work for us in particular, then for me, it's very, very shame inducing. Like there's a lot of self-blame, a lot of shame that comes up for me in that space. And that's one reason why my mission is really so front and center for me, and like my passion, my obsession, everything I talk about emotional trauma and about how our nervous system holds things, is that my solution, if I were just to say to you, if you are in this like place of emotional stuckness, like, oh, just change your mindset, right? Does that work? Does it? Like, when we get to a point where we know like what we're saying to ourselves is untrue, but we still can't find the truth, we still can't embody the truth. Like, for example, a couple of things come up with relationship and love. One is, we all know what everybody's saying about, in order to have a healthy relationship, you have to love yourself. Duh. We know this, right? Do we not? But how do we get there? I mean, if we could flip a switch, don't you think we would? And the other thing that kind of gets me now is that like most of us now know what our attachment style is. All great information, all great information. But now that we know what our attachment style is that enough? I'm saying no. The next level that I've seen with my growth personally, y'all have been with me for a while, and with my clients, is that just knowing about things, just knowing that we need to do something, or just knowing even the steps that we need to take, whether that's written out in a book or even in therapy, for example, we have to be able to embody whatever it is we're trying to do. And embodiment does not feel like everything's in your brain is about to explode and it's hard to do the behavior. Does that make sense? So if I were saying like, oh, you need to have more self-love out there, just like take yourself on a date once a week, for example. I posted this on my Instagram story yesterday. Take yourself on a date out once a week. I love that. I do that and I love it. But for you, is that easy for you? Do you do it for 2 weeks and then something happens in your life and something else becomes a priority? And that, and from what I know, that is the learning experience. Because when we cannot do behaviors consistently, especially if we know that it could be helpful to us, but we still can't seem to do them consistently, then what that indicates is that a couple of things. One is that there's emotional trauma from stuff that's happened to you in your past. Could have been big things. It could have been small things. It could have been like something really, really massively horrible. You know, I'll send you a virtual hug with that, but I know you're resilient and you're here. Or it could be really small things. It could be like not getting chosen to be the lead in the school play. And it's not stupid, whatever it was. You don't have to remember it. But I guarantee you that if you're seeing this pattern, there's something that happened to you in your past that is blocking you from getting what you want here in the present. More self-love, healthy relationship, get unstuck. The way that we can tell, a few things. If you know what to do and you can't do it, especially consistently, that's a good indication. If you're noticing a pattern happen of 2 or 3 times of the same, like we talk about relationships here. So why am I attracting the same toxic relationship? There are deeper stories other than what you know, or you may know, but all of those stories need to be healed inside your body. Your nervous system holds those emotional traumas that have happened to us, whether we know it or we don't. But I've just talked about the indicators. And that is the next level. And if you are feeling like, for me, it was like this point of knowing what I wanted, but I couldn't seem to get it. Like I knew what I didn't want. The next level was knowing what I wanted. And then the next level after that was figuring out how to get it. And those kind of two little, and they feel like Grand Canyons almost, but those two little gaps, this is where this kind of work comes into play. So I encourage you to reach out for support to do this. You can reach out to me, someone like me, therapy. Emotional trauma only happens in relationship. It's relational. So that's the way that it must be healed. And the result of bringing your nervous system back on board with your truth today, with healing your emotional trauma that's been holding in your body. And again, like if you're seeing these things, let me know, or reach out to me on Instagram if I'm missing anything, and I'll be happy to talk about that, or the Epiphany Vault. I'm pretty out there in a lot of different ways. But when we do this, we can actually embody the behaviors that we know that we need to do, right? So if it's having a healthy relationship, setting boundaries and sticking with them, knowing what you're worth, knowing what you want, knowing your values and embodying them, right? All of these things happen and they bring about this like freedom and abundant, purposeful, just a healthy, joy-filled life. And it's possible. I think the thing that also, again, this whole self-development thing is that like, it's not really you, like you're not broken. You are not too messed up. You may have had some things happen to you, yes. But it's more about your nervous system. It's more about the emotional trauma that you've experienced to get you to that next level. Hope that helps y'all today. A little bit of a pep talk solo episode. I had 2 really great interviews today, and they'll be releasing next week and the week after. And I love y'all. Drop in on my Instagram community, and I will see you later next time on the podcast.